So the weird thing about you is that you seem to be made up of multiple parts. For example, and this is weird, you can be at odds with yourself. I have to wake up. Don't want to wake up. I have to wake up. Don't want to wake up. Wake up or you'll be fired. We'll never get out of this bed. This is a totally natural and yet totally bizarre phenomenon. And it's maybe the first thing you need to understand about yourself if you're looking to acquire self-knowledge. Consider, for example, that you can surprise yourself or you can disappoint yourself. Sometimes we might even say that we're unrecognizable to ourselves. That's weird. And think about this. It's also the case that you can both want things and not want things at the same time. Or you can want two things that are actually opposites. Should I do some reading? I really want to play video games. I should write that paper. I'm hungry. What's on my to-do list for tomorrow? I want chips. There are lots of different ways to understand this phenomenon. Ancient Greek philosophers, like Plato or Aristotle, they thought your soul had multiple parts. Let me show you. So Plato's Socrates, for example, sometimes talked about the tripartite soul. He imagined this soul with multiple parts. And your soul has like this rational part up here. And that's the part of you that wants rational things. It's like this decision-making, long-term planning, thinking about goals and what's really good for you, saving money for long-term goals or getting an education to prepare yourself for the future. Typically, we think when your rational part is in charge, you're good at like making short-term sacrifices for long-term goals. You do hard work now so that you can have things you really want in the future. And then you've got this appetitive part. This is the part of you that's full of desires and wants, pleasurable things like, sleep, or delicious food, wants to blow all your money going out drinking and partying with your friends. Socrates also suggests there's this third part called your thumos. It's your thymotic part or spirited part. This is the part of you that really likes to win and wants respect. Not really rational, not really appetitive, but like some other part of you. Anyway, the key thing is you've got these multiple parts and they are, in a sense, in competition with each other. So self-knowledge might be about coming to understand which of those things that you want are the things you really want. And then working out, the decisions or the actions or the habits that you have to develop in order to acquire those desires, to attain those goods that you really want. How do you achieve those long-term goals? How do you acquire those things that you value most highly? So a human life, in part, it seems, is about, balancing and prioritizing these various drives. And look, it's not just about giving your rational kind of long-term goal part the run of the show. It's not just that hard work is good and rest is bad and for the weak. That's a recipe for disaster. You need rest. You need, food and pleasure and enjoyment. Otherwise, you won't be able to do any of the more, purposeful actions. But in many cases, just in your everyday life, you do need to choose, to make choices between different kinds of goods, different kinds of appetites and desires and drives that you have at once and that are in competition with each other. But wait, it gets more complicated because the self is not just a thing that's divided or fractured or multiplied. It's also a thing in motion. So the thing you may want to understand yourself is a thing that is changing, transforming, hopefully growing, but in some sense, it is in development and under construction. Even straightforwardly, I am a different person today than I was yesterday, because yesterday I had never before tried hot Takis. Okay, here we go. These look hot. Should just eat like two. They're not that bad. Okay, no. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's the heat. That changed me. In one sense, I am the same person I was when I was a kid. But in another sense, I am not. I'm not even the same person I was at the start of this video. So the weird thing about you, who was that guy? But it gets worse because the self is not just a fractured, divided, multiplied, moving thing that you're trying to understand, but that moving, fractured, multiplied thing is also the tool you are using to understand the self. So how is it possible to know the self? How do I acquire self-knowledge? One solution might be patterns. Think about the patterns in your life. Are there things that repeat or recur again and again? Do you often find yourself in similar situations? Do you respond in the same way to the same situation? Do the same kinds of things always make you mad? Or do the same kinds of situations always stress you out or cause you trouble? Just so, are there particular kinds of situations or conditions that make you relaxed or calm you down or recharge you? Are there certain things that you always want? Do you have dreams or desires that remain consistent across time? A dream job, a dream home? Are there people in your life that you always want to be around? Pay attention to those things, because they might be constants in your life. They might be the more durable or permanent or predictable things that can help you navigate all of this confusion and flux. The other thing to think about is the way that you, as a person, as an individual, how do you fit into patterns? And this is something that education and study can really help us with. How do we fit into the human species? How do we fit into our communities, into history? How does my life, how is it part of the whole human story? What things have happened to other people that can help me make sense of the stuff I'm going through or the stuff I struggle with? Reading can really help us with those questions, as can just talking to other people, our peers. They can help us think about these things so we can work together to find these patterns, these similarities, these echoes, so that we can help orient ourselves in the broader pattern of human life. So what are the patterns in your life, and what are the patterns in the world into which your life fits? If you can figure out those things, you can start to know yourself. My name is Dr. Moore. I teach great books at St. Thomas University. And if you like this video, if you found it interesting, you might want to check out another video on self-knowledge over here. Thanks very much. I will talk to you soon.